You are now listening to the sounds of
Joining us now, coming live and indirect from Central California. He's a local rapper. He's been doing it, holding it down, and he's on a meteoric rise to the top right now. You know who he is. He's from Fresno. Give it up from MC Wicks.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, brother.
Hey, man, appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for joining us on a Friday night, man. You're a busy man, so I know that squeezing us into the schedule is it's tight, but we appreciate it. We really do appreciate it, and we won't take up too much of your time.
Oh, it's all good, man. This is Culture, man.
Tight.
Hell yeah.
The Culture, man, straight up.
That's what's up. I appreciate that.
Bro, just getting the conversation started here. I mean, we're out of Lodi. What was it like growing up in Fresno, and what's it like living out in Fresno?
In Fresno, man, it's like a lot of people don't make it out of here. Shout out to Planet Asia. Shout out to Fast Sean.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a really, really hard place to make it out of. And it's like the home of broken dreams, man. There's a lot of people that travel out here and get stuck out here and never leave.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's a beautiful place, but it's a hard place to grow up in. It's a hard place to thrive from. Tupac got that poem about a rose that grew from the concrete. And I feel like that environment, that's like Fresno, and I just want to succeed that way so the future and the youth could have hope, because when Fast Sean made it and got signed to Nas, and when Planet Asia made it first and stayed relevant even to this day.
Forever.
But every 10, 15 years, it's usually 10 or 15 years, someone makes it out of here. And it just gives more hope and more hope and more hope. So I'm trying to be the next generation to succeed.
Hell yeah.
But I feel like I'm happy and I'm blessed to be from Fresno because it's the best practice ground. It's the best practice ground. Like, you could rap your face off over here and you could go crazy. You could obliterate the stage and you'll get like, oh, that's what's up. That's cool. And that's it. And that just makes you rap your face off. It turns you to an animal, to a beast. And then when you start traveling, like how I started traveling, going to other cities, I come with that same energy and their mind is blown.
Yeah.
And because Fresno is such an uphill battle, it just made me go to the next level. So I say Fresno is like the best practice grounds. It's going to make or break you, but you should let it make you.
Yeah.
Let Fresno make you, not break you, because when you get broken out here, it's bad. It's really bad.
They always say that in your neighborhood town, nobody likes you, but everybody else likes you everywhere else. So to sell your own town is a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, where everybody likes you where you're from, that's a hard deal to sell, But
oh, yeah, man. Out here, I'm not going to lie, you got to impress everybody like 4 or 5 times. And I was local on the scene for so many years, for like doing local shows for like probably 8 years, 10 years before I even branched out to other cities. So I got them on my side. I got the city on my back. I got the love from the people, but it definitely wasn't easy, and you could get the city on your side. You just got to work hard and you got to just be consistent. That's it.
Yeah, it sounds like the uphill battle that you fought there kept you humble, and then once you got outside, it was like, damn, nobody really is on that level. Everything else is easy. Like, I've already made the climb. This is all downhill now once you're outside the bubble, which is awesome. It's good to have that type of background and that type of community around you.
Yeah, I mean, anyone could be decent, anyone could be good, but you want to be great. And the way Fresno is, a lot of people say bad things about it, even the people that grew up here and live here, but if you thrive and you succeed and you make it out, Fresno will build you to be great. It's either going to make you the greatest or it's going to break you down. And I refuse to be broken down, man. I'm just trying to elevate in life. That's all.
do you ever feel like, I feel like this when I hear you. I feel like you sound like you could be making a collab with Bronson, Action Bronson. You could be making a collab with somebody from the East Coast. you got real Wu-Tang oriented roots. It sounds like in you. I mean, like when I hear your shit, I know you're a wrestling fan by you talking about Blue Blazer or you talking Chris Benoit and some of your shit. I mean, you all over the board. So I mean, do you see yourself collabing with somebody East Coast if you could? And if it was, who would it be?
Yeah, man, Ghostface Killer, man.
Exactly. That's where I see you.
And even Action Bronson. Nas don't really collab with anyone, but if I could get a collab with Nas, that lets me know that, in my opinion, like, it don't get no better than that, you know, because I know he don't really collab a lot. So Nas, Action Bronson, already the Rugged Man. Rest in peace, Sean Price. I wish he was still around, but Sean Price is a heavy influence on me, man, for real, man. Sean P's one of the greatest, man. R.I.P.
Hell yeah. Like I was saying, that your sound straight up comes off as East Coast meets West Coast, and now I stay in the West Coast. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of crazy, but I totally dig it. It's dope as fuck.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man. I have fun, man. You got to always... you know, we get into this and we start getting to the money and the business, but you got to remember the craft and the culture at all times. That will keep you humble. That will keep you grounded. That will keep you on point. And it's easy to get lost in the business and the politics of everything, but I've been doing this for 15 years now, and now at this point, I'm like, I'm just doing this for me, and I'm just doing this for the love. If I get some money, cool, but fuck all the bullshit. Fuck the politics.
Yeah.
I'm always trying to get money, but fuck the politics. You know, I'm about the business, but I ain't about the politics.
Yeah, which is tough. It's because it's always a business at the end of the day. So you got to do what you got to do, but you also want to stay, like you said, grounded and stay real. Let's go back. Go ahead.
Oh, it's just a fine balance. Everything is just about balance.
Yeah.
You know, that's all.
I was gonna say let's rewind 15 years to when you first started rapping, or when you first wrote your first rap. Would you freestyle or write first?
Oh, I was just freestyling, man. And back then, I listened to a lot of like hardcore rap, like Necro. Shout out to Necro.
Yeah.
Brother Lynch. Those are like my two favorite rappers at the time. Like back in the days when I was young, whoever was the most violent was my favorite. Like video games, the most violent character, villains, the most violent, but Necro and Brother Lynch, and it was all hardcore. That's how I got my name MC Wicks, because Wicks is supposed to symbolize like wicked.
Okay.
I didn't want to be like MC Wicked. Kind of sounds like a cholo name and crazy, too basic.
Hella cholo for sure.
Well, and
So
also,
like, how do I represent that without being like cliche? And I was like MC Wicks, and I put the MC in my name so I could live up to it. Every time I'm on the stage, every time I'm on the mic, I gotta be MC. If I'm not, I'm being fraudulent. It's in my name, you know.
Hell yeah.
So that's bar and the expectation I gotta always meet.
That's smart.
MC and master of ceremony, move the crowd.
If you
microphone controller, man.
If you were just MC Wicked, you'd have to show up with the lowrider at every show. I'd be like, oh, this fool's hurting him right now. He's cholo
anyway.
all day.
I have to look to the wicked part. I'd have to do that.
You'd have to be hard, bro. You'd be like, God, who is this guy, man? He's got the high socks. He got Cortezes on. He's wearing shants. Who is this guy?
Yeah, I would have to live up. Whatever, you got to live up to it, man.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to live up to skills, man. That's all. So MC, man, I had to throw that in my name. I know it's crazy because it's hella 80s and retro, and I started rapping in 2008. But I was like, you know, fuck the bullshit. I'm gonna stay true to the craft. So cool. MC, man, MC Wicks.
Fuck yeah.
Coming back, how did you come up with taking the Beach Boys little thingy and making a remix and making the beat? Who had the idea behind that? That song Bring Back is hard as fuck.
Shout out to my homie Left Coast, man. Left Coast, he's a Fresno producer. We got a few joints. We should have some more, man. He's super dope, man. I'm gonna hit him up, actually. We got to do some more. But when he sent me that beat, that was like one of the fastest raps I wrote in my life. I wrote that whole thing in like 15 minutes, and it's like my most viewed song on Spotify and YouTube, and it was the most effortless. So shout out to Left Coast for that, man.
The beat does that to you. Sometimes you hear that
Yeah.
beat and you just like the pen doesn't stop. You could just like everything's flowing perfectly.
Not only that, I love that Beach Boys song in itself. I love that Beach Boys song. That song's sick as fuck. Just that whole sound, and then you took it and you flipped it on its head. Super sick. I give it up. That's tight.
That's love, man. Yeah, that was just organic, man. That was all in real time, and you know, I write pretty fast all the time, but that was by far the most effortless, natural, organic track I ever made, man. It's one of my favorite songs ever, man. So I'm glad you guys are rocking with that.
Oh yeah, shit's sick.
So like while you were listening to all this horrorcore, you know, like Brother Lynch Hung and Necro, you know, how did
Which
you,
we love because we're like 10, 15 minutes away from Sacramento.
Yeah, we love
like,
Lynch.
Yeah, we love that
Sacramento shit
Still.
is what we love. Rated Lynch, all that shit.
Bump Lynch to this day.
yeah, maybe
Hey, man, Fresno, all the gangsters, like the real street people, growing up, they were bumping X-Rated and Brother Lynch heavy, man. That was like, if you were in the hood, you were hearing that shit. We love that shit, man. We love that.
So
Out
how'd you
here in Fresno.
So how'd you go from listening to Lynch and, you know, Necro to, you know, like listening to Planet Asia, and how'd you discover, you know, that type of hip hop? Did you just cross paths with Planet Asia somehow in Fresno, or, you know, how was that journey discovered, that other side of hip hop?
Shout out to my homie. His name's Arius, man. I would show him music, and he would show me music, and I was, you know, growing up poor, so I wasn't buying CDs, and I was just listening to whatever was on the radio. And the radio around maybe like 2006, 2007, I wasn't really feeling none of the rock. I wasn't really feeling none of the hip hop. And my homie put me up on Immortal Technique.
There you go.
And I was like, damn, this shit's dope. And I was like, is this from like the 90s or what? And he's like, nah, this came out in the 2000s. And I was like, oh, all right. So from that, I went down the rabbit hole. I listened to him, Immortal Technique, then Necro. Then I was looking at all the features on albums, and it just went all over the place. And eventually I heard Planet Asia, man. Planet Asia was at my first show I ever attended, KRS-One and Planet Asia at Fresno State.
Nice.
Sick.
And I actually met him that day. I was 16, and I was like, I knew who KRS was, and I seen Planet Asia on the flyer, and I was like, oh, okay. This cat's from Fresno, they talk about him, and I looked him up like a few weeks before the show, and I just loved the music. And then when I met him, I was like, that's what's up, man, representing Fresno. And I spit some bars, and he showed me love. And it's crazy because I met him in 2011 at my first show I ever attended. I was 16. And 10 years later, I met him in February. 10 years later, in February 2021, within the same month, I dropped my first song with him.
That's hard.
And it's crazy how it comes full circle. Like, there's nothing like your first hip hop show. You know, I was like 16. I was the youngest one in there. I was in the front row, just mind blown, just fanning out, just going crazy, energy, life. And it's never going to be like that again. But I remember Planet Asia killing it, man. And KRS-One and Planet Asia, I've seen thousands of shows, hundreds of shows.
Mm-hmm.
They're still two of the best performers I've seen in my life.
Yeah.
Straight up.
One thing we were talking a little bit before the podcast was about Planet Asia and how he's always stuck like close to home, and he always tours up and down the coast, and he'll tour by himself a lot of
Cali
times.
Agents, baby.
And then he'll show up to towns and just pick up, you know, all the local cats to open up for him. He doesn't bring opening acts. He has the local cats open up for him, which is always tight. He's always showing love up and down the coast. So I always thought that was very admirable, and it's a community. So you want to see fools give back to the community, and when you see that, it, like you said, it really gives hope.
I appreciate him because he definitely he keeps his ear to the streets. I met him at 16, and a few years later, he added me on Facebook and was like, "I see you, homie.
Nice.
I've been here. I've been seeing you."
That's tight to be recognized.
I didn't even know if he remembered me, but he hit me up probably like 4 years later or something. And ever since then, whenever he was in town or he did something, I would watch him. I would give him props, show him love, and every time I seen him, he would just drop a little bit of game. And I never asked him for nothing. It was just all organic, all real. But he always shedded some gems, always shedded some game, always showed love. And it took 10 years for it to happen, but organically we got a track now, man. Look up MC Wicks, Body Everything, man, featuring Planet Asia.
Hell yeah, congratulations. That's
a hard track. That's a hard track in a video.
That's fucking awesome too, for you to be able to say that, to have that full circle moment, and
most definitely
have that validation of not just all the work that you put in, but just being an artist in your local area.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And on that note too, man, you mentioned shout out to Planet Asia, Cali Agents, a big part of my introduction to hip hop and underground hip hop and that style, especially coming from California, so close to home. But you mentioned KRS-One, opening it up for him, and then being able to jump on stage and be in a cipher, freestyling with KRS-One, a fucking legend. How was that experience, man?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the crazy thing. Is technically, I never opened up for him, but what he does at small intimate shows is at the end of his set, he'll be like, all the MCs in the house, jump on the stage, let's cipher.
Got it.
So at that show at Fresno State,
hell yeah,
he said that. And I was like rapping. That was like, I started rapping at 13, so I was like rapping for like 3 years. So I was like, oh shit, this is my first rap show, and I'm gonna get to rap with the legends.
Yeah.
So I was happy as hell, and I was ready to rap. And it was crazy because that moment really taught me how competitive hip hop was, because I was 16 and everyone in the room are 30s and up, and I walk up in a circle and I try to grab the mic, and they put it past me like, whoop. They skip me up, and all these older cats, they're trying to impress KRS-One. They want to go on tour or something. And they're just like, they'll step on a baby's face to make it to the top. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And they kept passing me up, and I wish I knew who it was, but there's some white dude, and he was like, I see you, little homie. You want to rap? I'm a rap, and when I'm done rapping, I'm going to pass you the mic. And I was like, all right, cool. So he rapped, he passed me the mic, and I bodied it. I obliterated it. I shut the whole shit down. This is in 2011, and I killed it. I won a few times after that, and after the show, KRS, he tours with his son and his wife, and he had the Gospel of Hip Hop. He came out with it around that time, and it was at a college, so he gave the book to all the kids. So his wife walked up to me and she asked, did you get a book? And I go, no, I didn't get a book. And she goes, oh, we got one for you. So she after the show, she wired me towards the green room, and I just waited by the door like, okay, I'm gonna get my book and keep it moving. And she's like, nah, come in here. Like, you can come in here. And I went in there, and KRS was there, and he just started dropping game, man. He told me about how he was homeless, and he met Scott LaRock in the homeless shelter. He told me about hearing his first song on the radio while he was on the train. And he just said a bunch of shit, and I kind of zoned out because I was shocked about the moment, as a youth. But the one thing I do remember is he said, one day I'm going to be on the stage and I'm going to pass you the mic.
That's sick.
And I didn't even know the concept of manifestation. And I didn't realize what he was doing, but what he was doing was planting the seed, planting the vision, planting the dream. And that became my dream. I was like, no matter how successful or how far I get or what I do in rap, I want to make that statement become true. Fast forward a few years later, I'm like 20. Shout out to my homie Irv, Rebel Lion Gear. he did a show at this venue called Phone 55. It was 21 and over. He was a local clothing line, so he snuck me in. I fucking carried some boxes. And the video that you see on YouTube is from that day. And I knew all the rappers. After that day, I went to any and every single hip-hop show. I didn't miss nothing. Nothing in Fresno. Hip-hop could happen without me being there. And so I met all the vendors. I met all the rappers. And that day, the rappers that opened up, he said, everyone that opened up, come on the stage. And I know all the rappers, so they're like, oh, you better roll with me. And I'm walking down the stairs, and I see KRS's wife. And she's like, hey, you. And she gives me a hug. I go, you remember me? And she said, of course I do. And then I walk on the stage, and then KRS goes, what's up, man?
Oh, man.
And I go, you remember me? And he goes, of course I do. KRS-One's Hype Man raps. Then KRS-One raps. And in my head, I'm like, he's going to pass me the mic.
Pass me the mic. So sick.
It's about to become true. I knew it was going to happen, and he rapped, and it was crazy. Like, it felt like time actually slowed down, and he did pass me the mic, and it did become true. And ever since that day, I've been living my whole life off of manifestation.
Man.
I got a mural in my city. Shout out to FAR GTL. After that day, my next manifestation was to be painted in my city while I was alive. And FAR 1 GTL, he made that happen, man, going through life.
Shout out.
So I've been living off that. Planet Asia, that was one too. I wanted that record. That happened. There's a bunch of them, but it's thanks to KRS-One, you know?
That's an amazing story.
That's just true, though.
Yeah, that's an
you
amazing.
Manifest your dreams. It happens, man.
Yeah, planting that seed, like that's just an OG move by somebody that is very, that's been very inspirational to a lot of people to know to plant that seed to give you like a fire, to burn. So
for sure.
Shout out to KRS-One for that shit.
Super legit.
So I'm gonna put it out here like this, like, a lot of people, they doubt and they hate on manifestation, and I get it. But you need it, man. Work without the vision is pointless. Talent without the passion is pointless. So you do gotta work. You do gotta make moves. You do gotta work towards it. You do gotta strive, but never lose the vision. And manifestation is a 50-50 thing between work ethic and vision. If you just got work ethic, you ain't gonna make it. If you got vision without work ethic, you ain't gonna make it. You need both. You got to do it all, man. But never forget the vision, never forget the dream, and always work hard.
Yeah, and it's not gonna hurt to have that outlook. You're only gonna be better. It's not gonna make you any worse by having a little bit of manifestation in your life. And it's like having goals, just having goals or a goal board or some shit.
Sure.
That is, and you're just looking at something in the future and you want it so bad that
you make it
all
happen.
you can do is keep your eyes fixated on that, and you're not going to stop till you get there.
An end game is always, most desirable. No one wants to work forever with no end game.
So important.
Yeah, you'd be breaking your back and nothing to show for it. You break your back, you get what you need. You're like, I got it now.
Yeah.
For sure.
I feel like that's a great lead into your new album, Internal Healing, which you just dropped last month, if I'm not mistaken. Super dope album. You're an artist who drops a lot of content, man. A lot of albums, making a lot of music. So you're staying consistent and motivated to make a lot of music. For one, how do you stay so motivated to make music and continuously put out content? And then let's talk a little bit about that new album, Internal Healing.
Internal Healing, man. That's like my mushroom experimental album, and it's crazy because I was like literally every song I wrote, I would have a trip and I would have this kind of like awakening or life lesson, and I'd write about it either while I was tripping or the next day clear-minded. But that whole album, I was literally fighting my demons and defeating them. And what I realized during that whole process, the title is straight up, it just is what it is. I was healing from the inside before then all my raps were surface level. I was rapping about what happens in the streets, what happens with finances, what happens outside of everything in this human flesh, human spacesuit.
Yeah.
And this album made me go with from within, and I faced a lot of my inner demons, and what I realized is the inner world is similar to the outer world. If you got a bully in the outer world, how do you get rid of them? You punch them in the face, you bust their fucking nose, you let them know that you ain't nobody to be fucked with.
Yeah.
And the same thing applies to the inner world. You got these demons like insecurities,
Ego.
self-hate, depression, ego.
Yeah.
You gotta look in the mirror and you gotta face that reality. And in the inner world, you don't really punch it. In the inner world, you gotta look at yourself and understand yourself. And once you understand the way that you truly are, you understand why you're egotistical or why you're depressed or why you're angry. Once you discover the knowledge, whatever is negative becomes powerless.
Mm.
So that's how you fight in the inner world. Knowledge is truly power. And during that whole mushroom experience, I was using it as a medicine, as a spiritual guide. I was documenting my whole entire process, and that's what became the album. So I really do hope this album helps people out. I listened to it on psychedelics after the fact, and I was like, damn, this shit is heavy. I don't really listen to a lot of my music like that, but I was like, I made the whole album on psychedelics. So when it's fully done, I got to hear it on psychedelics. And I got a lot of good feedback, and I was really worried because I've never done nothing like this in my life. This is the complete 360 from my normal, regular content.
Yeah, journey.
And this album showed me that my fans are loyal, and they got so much love for me and so much faith for me that I could go outside the box and they'll still give it a listen or some consideration. And shout out to anyone and everyone that supports me, because this album gave me a lot of hope. Before this album came out, I almost thought about like not rapping no more. And then this album, I wasn't sure. I felt like, man, maybe people might not like it. Maybe it might go over their head. And I put this album out, and the love was real, man. And it felt like the world needs this right now, man. They need to hear some shit like this, some positive, high frequencies. There's a lot of bad in the world right now, so we got to just keep it elevated.
The world needs,
yeah,
we need some internal healing, man.
We love that.
We really do.
When you talk about the writing process or the creation of this and being on mushrooms, what kind of trip were you like? Are you talking microdosing, or were you going all in? Like, we're talking 1/8 to 4 grams.
Yeah, the whole deal.
They're always an eighth. I microdosed a few times before I started writing. Shout out to Third Eye Team in Oakland. That was the first time I did mushrooms, and I just did a little microdose, but I experimented a little bit on the microdose tip, and then I got comfortable. And the first song I wrote on this album was called Pure Game. And I ate the mushrooms, and I watched Fantasia.
Yeah, I did it right. Did it right.
You did it right.
And then it's crazy because I've always seen Pink Floyd my whole life. I've seen the Dark Side of the Moon, the cover. I've seen it on shirts. I heard about it. And I watched Fantasia, and I was like mind blown, because that movie is truly art. It's like an orchestra, and the animation is moving with the music.
Oh yeah.
And everything is one, like the colors,
Yeah,
the art, the music. it's all forms of art and it's all moving as one. It's all connected.
Who would have thought it'd be
And,
Mickey Mouse, huh?
Well, listen, anything that takes an eighth of shrooms to digest something, that type of thing, it's art. That is art in general,
for sure,
basically.
Yeah,
But Fantasia is dope as fuck, though. You're correct, super dope.
And then I listened to Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
Because I watched that and I was like mind blown. And then I go, okay, you know, psychedelics, that's from the hippie era. What did the hippies do? Or what did they watch? What did they listen to? And I was like, Pink Floyd. I don't know nothing about it, but I'm going to play it. And Dark Side of the Moon, that blew my mind too. And then after that, my whole goal in life is to make one masterpiece. Because I feel like Fantasia and Dark Side of the Moon are two masterpieces. And when you're in tune and you're like all high as hell and psychedelic out, you're like, the thought you think is how there is no limit to greatness. And how could you become that good? How could you be that dope? And I was like, before I die, I need to make one masterpiece. And that was my goal with Internal Healing, was to make it a masterpiece. And I'm going to try to make as many as I can while I'm alive. But that was my first time I actually said, you know what, let me sit down. Let me not just make music. Let me try to make a masterpiece. So check out that Internal Healing on all platforms, man.
Let's talk about the production of the album. Who's behind the production, and how do you go about picking who you work with, producing wise?
So I'm gonna tell you something that might fuck your whole head up right now. Shout out to Magnum, the 357 banger. Originally, I'm not gonna say no names because this is kind of fucked up. But originally, there was another producer.
You can give us a what's his name rhyme with?
Yeah, Schmicklick Schmalik or something crazy.
What's it rhyme with?
Yeah, give me a little something.
It rhymes with Bay. But it's
that's all we need. That's all we need.
Two words, but so this producer, he sent me all these beats. And he's dope as hell. I'm not gonna lie, he's really tight. And they were like perfect. They were like kind of soulful. They're kind of slow. They're really artsy. And he sent me all these beats. And that was around the time I was dabbling in the psychedelics. And
oh no,
we lost you.
There
you are. We lost you for a second.
You're back.
Could you hear me?
Yeah,
you're back. Back it up about 5 seconds. You got the beats. They're really artsy, and then we lost you.
They were jazzy, artsy, soulful, slow. Everything was slow motion, and I wrote the whole entire album to these beats. And I hit this guy up, and I said, yo, I'm making the best album I ever made in my life. Do not give these beats away. It's coming out. It's all written, all the tracks.
No.
And then he ended up beats to some overseas label, beat tape. Like literally, like right after I told him that. And then I was kind of crushed. I'm not gonna lie, I was crushed. I was crushed as fuck because I was like, damn, this is a masterpiece. This is the way I originally intended it to be. But shout out to Magnum, the 357 banger. I made a track with him and Afro like maybe a year or two before. And then he's a young cat. At the time, he was 16 out of Chicago.
Damn.
And he's like, oh, I'll sell you a whole album's worth of beats. And he said like a real cheap number. And normally I just get beats, from known producers and the love, but he's a young cat and he was dope. And I like to support the youth. So I was like, boom, I sent them the money. Yeah. I was like, send those beats. And I didn't know what to do with them for years. And then the original producer just ripped the carpet from under my feet. And then I thought, I wrote 10 tracks. And then I was like, wait a minute, I bought those beats like 2 years ago. And I was like, let me see what's up. And I went through them and I matched the lyrics to the new beats. And what this taught me is sound and frequency is very vital and important. And the original sound and frequency was like mellow and slow, but Magnum shit was hype and up. But my content was still mellow and slow. So when I made the records, I was mellow, but the beats were hype. And then that kind of reminded me of Q-Tip and A Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah, definitely.
And I always follow the beat, but this time I went against the beat because I was rapping a different production that didn't definitely match the frequency. And it became this whole abstract style that you hear today. And it was dope and people love it and people like it. And I was like, you know what? I need to do that more often. I need to go against the grain from time to time. Because it's if you hear a trap beat, you think someone's gonna rap about money and bitches, you know what I mean, street shit. But what if you hear a trap beat and someone raps about positivity?
Yeah.
You know, what if someone raps about science?
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's less predictable.
Yeah.
So this album may become less predictable and more abstract.
Yeah.
Shout out to
To this,
You know who did that really well too was Zumbi and Zion I in the Bay Area when Mac Dre was coming out with all that with a lot of the Bay Area hyphy type beats.
Yeah.
They took those hyphy beats and put some positivity behind it.
Sure.
And it
put
kind
hip hop
of
to it. Yeah.
it made a transition for people to come from both sides, come from like the hyphy side and it transitioned them into hip hop, and the hip hop heads transitioned them into like the hyphy side. So I like the way that you can do that, you know what I mean?
it's good to break the rules, man. Shout out to, I've been trying to study music more, and I'm not too big on jazz, but I've been learning about it, and those motherfuckers are rule breakers.
Love jazz.
And they make it work. There'll be like a 17-piece or a 20-piece orchestra, and there'll be like 10 people on a fast tempo, and there'll be like 5 people on a slow tempo, and another 5 people on a mid tempo, and it's just a bunch of music clashing, and nothing's following the rules, but somehow they make it all work.
And then one motherfucker comes in with the trumpet, with a trumpet. You're like, how the fuck? Who let this guy in the door?
I gotta think like that with rap, man.
Yeah.
Hey, to this.
Have you ever thought about putting out that album? Sorry, have you ever thought about putting out that album like a free download?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Just something that
the original beats, were there that moved
yeah.
you. You ever put that out?
Yeah. No, I did think about that, and I might still do it.
You should. You should let us have it.
Album, and I would have to put it out as free download because technically, every time you put your music out through a distributor, they put a IRSC code, so like a tracker on it.
If you're a mixtape or whatnot.
I would have to put it out like mixtape style.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Maybe I'll let people hear this one for a while, and maybe a 5-year or 10-year anniversary.
Yeah,
there you go.
I'll come with the original.
Wicks.
But to be honest, though, I was kind of crushed and heartbroken over the original. But then recently I tried to re-rap the lyrics to the original beats. And I'm like, you know what? It happened the way it was supposed to.
That's why we need it, Wicks. You let us know. We put it out. You give us 1 or 2 songs here and there. We drop them here and there. Let fools know the mixtape is coming. We got your back 100%. We're all with it.
The universe took care of everything exactly how it was supposed to be, because I told you it was a 360, and that was as far as like beats and everything. But since I was going so much out the box to give this to my audience and my followers or whatever, it was good that I stayed on that traditional hardcore boom bap shit.
Fuck yeah.
So they could digest it. And now they got a little dose. And whenever I make another spiritual album or psychedelic album, they'll be ready for the full dose. Just like how when I was dabbling with mushrooms, I had to do a few micro doses before I ate the eighth.
Yeah.
This is what this album is. This is a microdose.
I love that.
Before the
Yeah,
I'm gonna make these crazy spiritual psychedelic albums in a few years, and the next one, that's gonna be the eighth. But right now, everyone's digesting the microdose.
I love that's a great terminology. That's a good way to put it. That you got to kind of transition us into the full transition.
You
into
knock
the
on the
slow,
door.
mellow.
You gotta knock on the door before you go inside.
Exactly.
If you don't
Yeah,
knock on
how
the
to be
door,
subtle,
you
yeah.
don't go
Subtle.
inside. I mean, for real though. I mean, like I'm not gonna lie. A microdose will do you nice, but I mean, a fucking eighth will fuck your weekend up. You know what I mean? So I mean, if you're going to fuck my weekend up, I want to hear that. I want to hear that. You know. But if we were to say, let's get a couple songs for an hour, I'll take a dose. You know.
Bro,
Exactly.
you ran us through the whole creative process of internal healing. So what's the creative process like for an album like Silvertooth Babies, which I love a lot too? You know,
super
that's
sick.
super dope album
Super
from front to
sick.
back. So what's the process like when you create an album like that, which is much different than internal healing?
You know what's so crazy about all these things is it's always the producers. So the original album of Silvertooth Babies, and I didn't record a lot, not like this. I didn't record anything from the last one, but I wrote the whole thing to the beats. But my original concept for Silvertooth Babies was like, I want to make the most ignorant, grimiest street, like 808, even like kind of like the Mechanics, you know, the Mechanic production.
Yeah.
I wanted beats like that, like, and I don't normally rap over stuff like that, but things I slap in the trunk, and I wanted to be hella ghetto, hella ratchet, hella ignorant, and I had a producer in mind, and that didn't work out. So then I got with Obscure. Shout out to Obscure, and I wanted to make all this ignorant, you know, slap it in the trunk kind of music, but he sent me all this like deep kind of frequencies. That's why I'm getting back to frequencies. So the album changed from ignorance to upbringing, and it was more like a biography. Like when I heard these beats, they made me rethink. Shout out to Fresno and Belmont. Shout out to Poplar Street. My first childhood home, I lived on Poplar Street for like 6-7 years, and that Fresno and Belmont is still like grimy and ghetto. And where I'm at right now, it isn't too much different, but it's still a little bit better than Fresno and Belmont. And when I thought about Silvertooth Babies, it took me back to like my first 6 or 7 years of life. And the whole album concept was like walking outside of my front door, and what did I see and what did I feel during those youthful years. And it became a realer, deeper album. Shout out to Obscure. And that kind of happened both times, you know?
Yeah.
It happened both, but frequency is everything. And Obscure gave me the right frequency, and I'm happy that turned out the way it did too, because it also gave a lot of hope. People were proud of that, you know. People that grew up from my side of town, when they see me and they seen that album cover and they heard the lyrics and the stories, they're like, "You're talking about my life," and that's powerful. After I made that album, I was like, I need to make more powerful shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you're good at storytelling, man. Telling stories.
Oh, yeah.
And we need that. The world needs good storytellers, because, I mean, that's how we've gotten this far with storytelling. You know what I mean? Like, everything, it was written down and told in a story before. So we need good storytellers to continue this world, and you're doing a great job of that, carrying that torch.
Yeah,
when I first started rapping, I was trying to be like the most lyrical or the most like battle rap style, and I could do that too a little bit. But with Silvertooth Babies, I really realized that storytelling is where I'm at my best, and that's my bag. And it made me reflect on my whole entire life, and it made me think, you know, I'm 29 right now. What would I do if I could rewind time and come back and tell myself, you got to do this, you got to do that, fuck the bullshit. Through all the wisdom and knowledge I got through my OGs and my older relatives, the whole album is me talking to my younger self. But, you know, storytelling is, that's my bag. So I appreciate you noticing that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's where
I wanted to go back to when you first started. The question I wanted to ask you was, who was the relative or the person in the neighborhood that you saw first rapping that you were like, oh shit, this is something I could do?
Yeah.
Was there a person like that for you? Because I feel like
there's always
everyone has that person.
Everybody has that person. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's so crazy that you said that. No one's ever asked me that. And shout out to this. He's a graffiti writer. Shout out to Wins, WENS, from Fort Crew. Fuck our rivals. And
yeah,
my brother was writing in that crew, and I was young at the time. I was probably like 8, 9, 10, but all of them would hang out at our house, and all of my relatives, they're a little bit older, and they're all in high school, and I was in elementary. But everybody was popular, and so our house was a hangout spot. So everybody would be out there like getting faded, smoking, whatever, and then they'll get faded and they'll start freestyling. And this dude Wins, man, he was so raw, he was so dope, and he never really pursued music. He just stayed with the graffiti, and then later on he ended up, getting more involved with some street shit, and did some time or whatever. But he was super dope, and I wish he did put the music out, because to this day I think he's one of the illest people I heard from Fresno. And I've studied the whole culture from the 80s to now. You know what I mean? I'm like a historian. And this dude was super raw, man. Shout out to Wins.
Hey, shout out Wins.
Shout out Wins. It's always the people who don't give a fuck about it who do it the best.
They're really good.
Yeah, they just don't care. I mean, it just comes natural. They're like, hey, if I do it, I do it. I don't, I don't. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah, he was tight.
And that's cool. That's
shout out. I'm glad that you're able to tell that story, because I, like I said, I feel like a lot of people, and especially MCs and just artists in general, there's somebody that did it on a higher level that you looked up to and was like, oh shit, this is possible. I could fucking do this, and it kind of lit that fire to get you going. And I love hearing those stories, because
fuck yeah,
this is really what built this culture. That's grassroots right there.
Before you go, I don't know if you got a bunch of shit going on tonight or whatnot. Just a quick little synopsis. Give me 10 seconds. What does hip hop mean to you? You know what I mean? Just says, boom. Like, what is it? You know what I mean? Like, what gets you fucking fired up? What gets you moving? What gets you in the fucking lab? I mean, what gets you moving the pen? Like, what is it?
Hip hop is expression. Hip hop is art. Hip hop is energy. Hip hop is excitement. Hip hop is it's a beautiful thing, man. It literally saved my life, and I feel like I'm gonna be doing this for a while, man. I'm not gonna slow down. I'm not gonna stop. And I think while we're alive, all we could create is memories. That's all everyone remembers us by. And I've been documenting my whole entire life.
Sick. Ever
since 13 years old. And if we're remembered by memories, I'm going to document them, and I'm going to put them through this art form. So, my future family, I don't got no kids yet, future kids, whatever. Any time period you want to know where my mind state was, where I was at, you could just draw on an album, and there you go. Look at the year, look at the album, and you're getting a dose of MC Wicks in real time. And if memories is how we're remembered, art is forever. So all my memories are timeless. All my memories are infinite. And hip hop is powerful, man. I love this.
Hey, a great MC once said, to live forever, all you got to do is learn to sing.
That's it.
And literally putting your music on tape and putting music out on the internet, just in general now, because the internet's there.
You live forever.
You're gonna live for fucking ever. The legacy of MC Wicks will live forever, and it's a beautiful thing. Especially for me, I have kids, so like thinking about that legacy and leaving something for kids, because you will someday. That's a great, mighty first step for you.
And we'll check back in with you.
We're here for you, man.
Yeah, we'll
we're
check
here to
in with
support
you
you through the
again.
whole thing.
It's super fucking dope.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for everything.
Hey,
Appreciate
all day.
Appreciate everything, man. I love y'all.
most definitely. Wicks, before you go, man, real quick. Tomorrow, big show. You're opening up for DJ Quick coming through Fresno. What's that like? Are you feeling pumped up?
Oh man, that's dope, man. It's always good to rock the stage with legends, and
Yeah.
everybody, y'all need to pull up to that, man, because it's gonna be tight. I'll probably rock a few new joints. You know what I mean? I'm gonna start throwing them in my set little by little, but I got some internal healing on there for you.
Nice.
And I got the classics and the show rockers, but DJ Quick, Rainbow Ballroom, doors open at 9. It's going down tomorrow, Fresno, California, and I need to see y'all in the building, man, for real.
It's just gonna be popping.
Hell yeah.
Sick.
Hell yeah. Excited for that. And before you go, I've got to ask this one last question. Since
Hit 'em.
hearing your music, we've heard a little bit about, you got a wrestling background. I need to know, who is your favorite wrestler?
Oh man,
All time. Doesn't have to be current.
Chris
could be all
Benoit.
time.
it's between two people, and it's hard to pick. It's between Stone Cold or Mick Foley.
Ooh.
Ooh, Foley's God.
But you know what, though? Mick Foley is so tight.
He's the hardest.
Really, he's been like 5 different people, and I liked all of them.
Hell yeah. I love that.
Super sick.
Like, I like Mankind. I like Cactus Jack. I like Mick Foley.
Funny story, since you're in Fresno, I went to a pay-per-view that was in Fresno at the university, and it was the actual show where it was in 1998, Fully Loaded, and it's where Sable comes out, and all she has is
With
the
the black
handprints
handprints on the titties.
tits. That was in Fresno. I was there that day, dude.
Blew the mind.
Iconic
Blew
moment.
the
That's so
mind.
sick. That's so sick.
Sable was fire, man.
Fire,
Sable, Tori Wilson,
Ooh.
and I like Lita, even though she was all fucking.
I like
Dressed
Lita.
up.
Everyone like Lita. We like that
She
edgy
always had
shit.
that
Lita
little
looked like she
G-string,
lived in a
and I
trailer
was
park.
yeah.
She a trailer park chick. I like that.
Hell yeah. She looked like she had daddy problems for
When I
sure.
was young, I was like, Lita's
For
lit.
real.
But Tori Wilson and Sable were the ones, though.
Oh, for sure.
To be
Well,
Yeah.
MC Wicks, we don't want to take too much more of your time. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We've had a blast. Hopefully we could do this again shortly, and we wish you nothing but success in the future, man. Like, we're totally behind you, backing you, and we're thankful and gratitude for everything you're doing for the culture.
You're a bad dude, man. Appreciate your time.
Hell yeah.
appreciate you, man. In the future, I gotta be out. I gotta go out there, man. I gotta do one in the flesh, man.
Hey, we
Come to
would love that.
Lodi. We'd love it. We'd love it.
Hey, we would love that, man. MC Wicks, everyone give it up for the man.
Hell yeah.
Hey, peace out, brother.
Good night, bro.
Good night, brother.